Hi guys, welcome back, and if you're new, so happy to have you. Welcome. My name is Nancy. Today's video is just going to be a get ready with me where I'm going to catch you guys up on some things that have been going on in my life. You know, there was a time where I took a long break from YouTube and I'm trying to get back into it. So I'll touch on some of the things. I don't know what I'm going to call this video because there's so much that I want to talk to you guys about. But we'll see how it goes. You know, everything that I put on my face will be listed down in the description box for your reference with shades and everything on there. So let's just get started. Okay, let's get this hair out of the way. Have I shaved? Oops. You guys don't need to. And need to know bases. Okay, my skincare is already done. I have my sunscreen. The one I used today is this one from Shiseido, and I have been loving it. It's really nice and dewy and glowy, although you can't really see all that much anymore. So I'm gonna go in and put some glow into the skin. I have been loving this little guy so much. I use it alone. I use it to mix on my foundation. Okay, here it is. I just put a couple of pumps and it just feels really nice on the skin. I feel like it's a great base, especially in the winter months when our skin gets dull and it just needs like to kind of be, you know, brought back to life a little bit. Anyway, what did I want to talk about? So much. So I didn't post for like 5-6 months. I was in the middle of a foreclosure. I had owned my home for like 16 years, and you know, as a single mother of 3, 2 of which were, you know, going to college and whatnot around this time, it was just bound to happen. I mean, I held on to it for 16 years, as long as I could, which I think in and of itself is a miracle. So that happened, and so now we had to downsize, and now I'm renting. We moved into a 2-bedroom, except my 2 youngest children still live with me. My son's away at school, so, but it's his last year, so he'll be moving back in with us when he's done. But we can only afford a 2-bedroom, so we're in a 2-bedroom and making it work as best as possible. Foreclosure, don't recommend it. Anyway, then I go in with a primer to fill in my pores. And this one is from Caliray called So Blown. And this stuff is so, so nice, guys. And it claims to have some skincare on there. And it does a beautiful job at blurring the pores. I don't know that on camera you can really see it as much. I just do those areas because that's where my pores are more pronounced. And sometimes here to try to make that a little bit less, like to try to blur it out a little more. But you know what I really need is fillers. And just in case you know you don't really know me, and or this is your first time, I just turned 57 and I have not had any work done. As you can see, I've never gotten Botox. I did one time though, and this is a funny story, get ready. As I tell you the story, let's go in with the foundation. This one is the one from Kosas, and this one has niacinamide and it has some other stuff in it that's good for your skin as well. I'm gonna be using the IT Cosmetics foundation brush. They release this every year for cancer, to raise funds for cancer research, and this is the one from 2022, I want to say. Anyway, I had wanted to get fillers to fill these folds, the nasolabial folds. So I came across this Groupon, like, so it offered like for 2, I don't remember, this was years ago. So I didn't really know, I knew it was a deal because it was on Groupon. So I go to this appointment, and it turns out that this guy is a dentist. Okay, it's a dentist, and I had already, you know, I had already paid for this, so I wasn't getting my money back. But he went on to explain how, you know, dentists are actually better at doing this because they've studied the structure of the face more in depth than other medicine. I mean, than other specialists, I guess. Which kind of made sense, but long story short, he did you know, injected. It was super painful. He was horrible. It was a really bad experience. And it didn't really do anything. Didn't do anything at all. And I feel like the nasolabial folds are a tricky part to treat. So I just need to get over it and learn to ignore them, just like I do all of that hyperpigmentation. That it's just, it gets worse and worse and worse, even though I'm always treating it with so many different acids. And if you've seen any of my skincare videos, you know I'm a big skincare junkie and I use a ton of different things. I'll have both playlists listed down in my description box, the skincare and the makeup playlist, if you want to check some out. So anyway, turning 57, and I just don't feel 57, and that's something that like no one really, it's the kind of thing that when I was young, it was like, it's something that happens to other people. Just like when tragedy happens, you know, oh, that's terrible, but that's never gonna happen to me. You think, right? It's always the thing that's gonna happen to other people until it happens to you. Like in my case, my family was in a car accident. My mother passed away. My sister and my nephew were in the hospital for over 2 months, rehabilitation for you know, a very long time. You know, that's the kind of shit you see on the news and you're like, oh my gosh, that would never happen to my family, until it does. Where was I going with this? Oh, yes. I thought I was gonna be young forever. Somehow, I don't know. I just never was afraid of aging and never thought of it as something, you know, so I never really took care of my skin. I never used sunscreen. I was never the kind of person that worried about it. I mean, and also back in the 70s and 80s, you know, so familiar with sunscreen. It wasn't a thing, not like nowadays where, you know, everyone knows to wear sunscreen. In any event, it just hits you kind of overnight. You know, the reality of like, I'm closer to 60, you know, I'm pushing 60. And I feel like what happened to my 40s and my 30s and my 40s. And so along with all of the nonsense that comes with getting older, you know, the menopause, the sweats, the hot flashes, the embarrassment, it affects everything. You know, your hormonal imbalance. And I'm someone that has struggled with mental health issues since a very young age. You know, this menopause has made it, I feel it has made it worse, which is part of the reason why I disappeared from YouTube and from social media. I mean, I was very busy with the move and everything and overwhelmed, you know, getting, it's emotional when you've been in a place where you've raised your kids and you have to move out and downsizing from a 3-level house into a small apartment. It's very stressful. And so I have just been a mess. I just couldn't focus on anything other than what was in front of me, which was trying to keep it together and taking care and selling things and buying things. And it's just an overwhelming process. And when you don't have any, you know, a partner that can help you with these things, it can be a lot. I mean, I do have sisters. They did come in and they helped me, and family as well. They helped me do garage sale. They helped me with the actual move, you know, so I wouldn't have to get a moving company. By the way, this is the Catrice powder, my favorite from the drugstore. I don't know if they still sell it. I think they stopped selling it at Ulta. Not sure why. Hopefully they're not going out of business. But anyway, so my battle with the reason I got off YouTube for so long, it wasn't just that. It was that I've been struggling for a long time where I really, really want to commit to this, and I was for the first couple of, because I started it like 3 years ago. And then I took an intense online course for several months to learn all about YouTube and the algorithm and SEO and all that stuff. So I dove in, like I dove in. I wasn't working full time, so I had a lot of time to learn everything that I needed to learn. And so once I got comfortable with and learning to edit, because it's a lot that goes into YouTube that people don't realize. And so I invested all those months, years into learning to do all this and getting over the anxiety that comes with, you know, the insecurity, getting in front of a camera, learning to not be awkward or you know, be fake and put it like, I don't, you know, and that's a lot of the times the reasons I don't film, because I'm like, well, you know, I'm feeling like crap today, I'm feeling down, I don't want to film and come off as like a depressive suicidal maniac, because nobody wants to see that. But at the same time, when I see YouTubers that are just like, fake, like I don't appreciate that either. So I don't know how you guys feel about it. Maybe you want to tell me in the comments below. That would be nice if you could just comment on that. So because my mental health is up and down, even though I've been on medication for many years, I've been diagnosed bipolar, but I hate labels and I don't consider myself bipolar. However, I do go through phases where even getting out of bed and doing just the basic things, brushing my teeth, making my bed, are a struggle. So the idea of having to set up and get in front of a camera and, you know, and get in the editing, because it takes hours, and just all of that, just the thought of it throws me into like such a awful overwhelm, and then it triggers my panic attacks. Just this morning, I got a horrible one just because I said, okay, I've been putting it off. I gave my word that I was going to get back to YouTube. I need to keep my word. I need to push through this. But I get the panic attacks. And so what ends up happening is I avoid that. And so like yesterday, a Sunday, instead of being productive, which is what I wanted to do, I just stayed in bed all day and watched TV, and I binged. My back is hurting because I was in bed all day. So that's the part that I struggle with, and which is why doing YouTube for someone like me who is never like this, it's just I'm either up and I'm being productive and I'm doing well, or I am on my way to a depression period where I don't know how long it's going to take me to snap out of. So it's very challenging to be consistent, and on YouTube, if you're not consistent, you're not going to get anywhere. And because of my inconsistency, my channel doesn't grow. And so then comes the, you know, why bother? Nobody watches it. You're a failure. This is never going to work for you. So there comes in all this negative self-talk. So on top of the depression in and of itself, then I'm now adding this other monster of like where I'm bringing myself down even more, and it's a vicious cycle. And you know, if you're someone that have never struggled with depression and anxiety and all that, I mean, you are so lucky, because it's really hard to explain, because it's like, you know, it's wanting to be a certain way and wanting to be like other people but not being able to, having this part of your brain that just doesn't allow you to, and you know that it shouldn't be that way, that it shouldn't be this, the struggle shouldn't be like this, because other people seem to, you know, live their lives and they have even worse challenges, but they're not, you know, they're not going crazy whereas with me, any little thing, you know, the little daily things just kind of throw me, you know, and all of a sudden I'm so overwhelmed. It becomes too much. So then it's like, okay, well, I won't even bother. I won't do anything. So then it's the procrastination. It's you know, making a mountain out of a mole, however that saying goes. But I hope I'm making sense. If you struggle with any type of mental issues, I know you understand where I'm coming from. All right, this blush is from Patrick Ta. It's the one, She's Vibrant. It's actually my daughter's and she's letting me use it. It looks like this. The way he applies it is he goes in with the powder first and then the cream. So we're gonna try it that way. So I am here filming, rambling on, probably not making a lot of sense to you guys, just because I am not giving into this. I am fighting it. YouTube is something that I really want to do, but it has become this scary thing for me, this scary monster that I keep avoiding, and just every time I try it, I get into this panic mode, and it shouldn't be that way. If it's something I enjoy, and if it's something, you know, I'm passionate about skincare, I'm passionate about makeup, so I just don't understand why, you know, and I pray about it and ask God to give me, like, you know, some relief from it, and or some sort of, you know, understanding as to why. I've been doing a lot of soul searching these last few months. I've been reading a lot of book. I've started going to church, and you know, my perspective on a lot of things has been shifting and changing. And I mean, but it's still hard. It's still hard because in that moment when you have a panic attack and you are literally holding on to your life, you feel like you're gonna die because that's how bad they are. You know, no matter how much you pray, you just feel like it's frustrating because I just want to have a normal brain, and it just isn't, and I have to make peace with that and kind of work with it as best I can. But it sucks that it's getting in the way of me doing what I want to do, which is be here, be consistent, and do this and not have it be something that throws me into panic every time I try to sit down and do it. And it's not even so much, you know, as I get older, and this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. Yeah, getting older sucks. Things start to break down, things don't look the same way, but it's more than that. Like in my case, you know, my role was, I was the breadwinner and I was a mother raising 3 kids on her own. So that was my role in life. All I did was work my ass off. You know, I used to work in New York, live in New Jersey, commute, and all I did was work to pay the bills, to pay the mortgage, and put food on the table for my kids, and then be a mother. That was my mission. If you're a single parent, you know what I'm talking about. And I've done this my entire life by myself. And so that took a toll until I got to a point that it just, you know, I couldn't do it anymore. So I worked corporate my entire life, but I had to stop because I just mentally, I had like a nervous breakdown, couldn't do it anymore. Then I've been doing retail. Now I work at Sephora right now. I'm able to do, mentally I can only handle like part-time jobs that don't require not the amount of responsibility and demand that, like, or, you know, three hour commutes on a daily basis. Like some days it was 3 hours, like to and from. Anyway, it was just a very, very unmanageable. And I did it for too long, where internally, like, you know, I broke down. My spirit was broken. And now my kids are older. They're in their 20s. My oldest just turned 33. Like, what? You know, it's just crazy. So now it's like, oh, I have time for myself. Like, I get to know what kind of things I enjoy doing. I get to find out what kind of music I like to listen to. Because it was always about just raising the kids and making sure that the bills were paid. It was never, you know, and of course, and partying and doing substances and drinking as my outlet. That was how I lived for many years, which is what got me in trouble quite a bit. But that's a story for another day. So now that they're older and that role of, you know, main care provider is removed, and so it kind of leaves you with, okay, so what is my purpose now then? Because for the longest time, I didn't have to question that. I never questioned. I knew my purpose was to work so I could provide for my kids, and that was it. now they're older, they're like starting to have their own lives and whatnot, and they don't need me to take care of them like before, so I have this time for myself. And so I think this is what they call a midlife crisis, and I never understood what that was, but I think I understand now, because I got to this point that now I have time for myself, but yet I don't really know what my purpose is, which way I want to go. Like the hopes and dreams that I have, like I've always wanted to like travel. I've never been to Europe. Like all these things that I've always wanted to do, you know, go on vacations, live in a nice home, like all these things, like we're all just like, oh yeah, those are things that happen for other people, but it's just things that I dream about, that I wish. But lately I've started to think, okay, you know what, why not? So I've been doing a lot of reading about, really doing a lot of in-depth and contemplation, and I've started meditating to try to figure out what is it that I want to do and need to be doing, because I feel like if you're living life without a purpose, and that's what I feel right now, right? Because my big purpose is no longer there. I'm left with like, okay, but yet I feel this calling, like I need to be doing more, like I need to be doing something. I feel like I should be contributing. I feel like I want to give back. Like I have all these life experiences and traumatic events that happened to me that I've always felt like I can help other women that have gone through something similar by sharing my story, which is what we do in AA, you know, because I'm in AA. It's a 12-step spiritual program, and that's what they teach you, that, you know, you help other people, because only you, having come from that same place, is the one person that can get through to them, that can reach them, as opposed to like a mother that's nagging for their son to get clean or whatever. In any event, that's a long explanation. You know, so I'm trying to live by spiritual guidelines because I'm learning that in AA, but I'm also, as I've gotten older, I actually want to have like a stronger relationship with my higher power, with you know, source, whatever you want to call it, universe, whatever that thing is that is in charge of all of this, that created all of this, that is within all of us. That's my belief. I want to have that connection, because I feel like only that way will I be able to figure out what my true purpose is, because I feel like, you know, it's not finished. And, you know, and maybe my main goal was to just raise my kids. You know, maybe, who knows, maybe that was God's plan for me. And I've accomplished that. And maybe that's all it is, and maybe I'm just complicating it. But I believe that if that was the case, I wouldn't feel this constant nagging that I feel always, this little voice. You know how you have that little voice that sometimes it just keeps coming up and throws like ideas in your head, which is like now when I took that like 6-month break, you know, the voice started coming back, and I don't know why. And I said, so I even made a deal. I said, you know, give me a sign. You know, because praying is just really having a conversation in your mind with whatever you believe in it. So I said, give me a sign. You know, is that the way I should move forward? Is that the way I'm going to eventually maybe find a way to give back, to help people, to contribute, to do something? Because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not through YouTube. Maybe I need to be somewhere else. So I asked God, just give me a sign, because I really don't want to continue like with the struggle of trying to make this work and it not working, and trying to upload, and I feel like, you know, letting people down because I say I'm going to film and then I don't. Anyway, and then sure enough, I got an email from Il Maquillage? I've worked with several companies already, Dermatology, Il Maquillage, but I hadn't worked with one in a while. And these people just had found me. You know, I never reached out to them, but I go in my inbox and there's an email from Il Maquillage offering me another another opportunity, making really nice chunk of change. Money that would take me at Sephora to make in 2 weeks, they did that for me for just some short video. And so I took that as, that must be the sign, right? Because little old me here, making videos that I'm like, you know, barely putting out there, but they have found me. They reached out to me, and I've done this several times, like I mentioned, with other companies. And for someone who barely has any followers, I've always wondered, why is that happening then? If I'm not meant to be doing this, then why am I getting these opportunities? Which is why I haven't walked away entirely, because obviously all of us want to have financial independence, financial freedom. That's one of my biggest goals, to be able to have more free time, to be able to do the things that I want to do, rather than, you know, work, slave away, making minimum wage and not have time to even, you know, attend a yoga class. That's not what I want for my life. I want more. But like, I want to be able to do that. I don't want to work for someone else forever. And, you know, social media is the way a lot of people are making a living nowadays. And, you know, so I'm like, if I have this opportunity, why am I going to walk away from it? And then my mind comes in and says, whoops, nope, we're not doing that, because you're just going to stay in bed for this week. This week you're not going to be doing anything productive, because that's how it's going to go. And it's just really frustrating. But it's just, I just feel like our time is so short. 2 decades just went by, and I feel like, wow, I thought that it would be more by now, you know. And so I always feel like my days, like I don't have enough hours in the day. I can never get as much done. And I feel like other people have 24 hours and I have like I don't know if that's making any sense. And that's part of the rambling brain, you know, which is what brings all this anxiety and this overwhelm, which then turns into panic attacks. And so it's all part of what goes, you know, how my brain works. And yes, I've learned over the years things that I can do and tell myself to kind of help me snap out of it. But it takes a while, and it can be debilitating some days. It really can. And so basically that's the reason that I have been having such a hard time being here. But I'm hoping that I will get to a place where this won't be a struggle, where this will be something natural, that I don't have to make this big deal about it, because if it's not, I'll stress about, oh, my hair's not done, or I'll stress about my skin's looking like shit today, or the lighting, I'll always find an excuse to not do it. And it's all fear. At the end of the day, it's all fear-based. And I know this, like intellectually, I know this, but emotionally, it's hard. Emotionally, it's very hard to get past that. But getting back to aging, that's, like I said, there are some good things about, getting older. It's not all gloom and doom and wrinkles and sagging skin and all the other crap that I'm not even going to mention. Because as I've gotten older, I've noticed I have become more assertive. I have no problem speaking my mind now. No problem at all. Whereas before, I was just so insecure and afraid of upsetting people, and I would always just play ball, right? And just be that the follower. I was always that people pleaser. So it's like, if you told me jump, I'd be like, how high? As long as you liked me and included me with your friends, I'll do whatever. So I've learned also, not just that, but I've learned that my self-worth, because I had none. I've learned how to love myself, because I had no idea what the heck that was. And every time a therapist would mention that to me, or in group sessions, I would hear them like, but what the heck does that mean, love yourself? Like, how can you love yourself? I love other people. I love my kids. I love whatever boyfriend was in the picture, you know. But I never really understood. I grew up with had a traumatic childhood with a lot of physical, verbal, emotional abuse. And so for me, like, you know, I had no self-worth. I always felt like the little cockroach that walked in the room, that was me. And so I was always very insecure, very shy. And it's taken me however many decades to finally be able to, like, be in a room with people. And don't get me wrong, I still do get this sometimes, but I'm able to be in a room with people and not feel, you know, so insecure, or the social anxiety is not what it used to be. I have a little bit more self-assurance. I don't feel like I'm the smartest person in the room, but I don't feel like I'm the dumbest either. Like I can hold my own. I understand that I'm not perfect, that no one is, but I don't just attack myself with my insecurities like I used to. Because before, I would only look at the things that were wrong with me and how everyone else had this, but I didn't have this. It was always, and that is the biggest crutch. Comparison can be the worst thing that we can do to ourselves, and it's taken me this long to really understand that. And for quite a while too, I stopped, before my YouTube even, I stopped going on social media because it would affect me emotionally, because I was in a place in my life back then where I would just compare and, oh, everyone's having this great life, but I can't even freaking get out of bed and be able to enjoy the normal things in life that other people do. So it would make me feel worse. It would make my depression worse. So I just stopped for a while, for a really long time. I just, you know, and to this day, though, I go on social media very little. The only reason I think I go is because I have to, because of my YouTube channel and trying to do this. But, you know, social media can be your worst enemy. If you struggle with like insecurities and things like that, it definitely is a beast. But anyway, we were talking about the good things that have come. You know, not just wisdom definitely a big one, because I look back at the choices that I made, and now I think of like, oh my God, Nancy, what were you thinking? Like, in order for the things the relationships I was in, the things that I allowed, like, I must have felt that I was worth so little that I was actually okay with all of the things that went down. And I think back and I'm like, I want to go back to the Nancy and like freaking slap her in the face and like, wake the fuck up. Why are you allowing this shit? You deserve so much better. You are so much better than this. And this is not your life. This doesn't have to be your life. But, you know, when you're in it, you don't see it. You know, you don't see any of that. And so my way, another way that I also was, and this is, I've come to understand this after doing like a lot of work and therapy and whatnot, but I also used relationships as like, you know, a clutch. And I think I might have touched on this in some other videos, but anyway, I didn't know how to be single. I could not be by myself, because I always felt like if I didn't have a boyfriend, I was lost. The idea of who I was just based on the boyfriend that I had at the time. So if he liked to listen to rap, that's what I liked to listen. If he wanted to do this, that's what I wanted to do. So there was like, I had no sense of self. I was defined by my current relationship. And when I lost a relationship, then I would feel lost. So I would have to find, you know, so I would replace it with the next one. So I was always from one relationship to the next. And that's so unhealthy. It's like two unhealthy people come together cannot be healthy, you know. So it would be, you know, I would be in relationships that would just make matters worse. Not that I'm blaming them, because, you know, I'm broken, but I would find people that were just like me, that were broken just like me. And so then things would escalate and things would get worse, right? I wasn't moving forward. I was just making my current situation worse every single time, because I couldn't be alone, and that was part of my coping. And so a lot of bad relationships, lots of bad experiences. And so when I started to really work a program, you know, the spiritual program, and I, you know, stopped drinking, stopped using, part of that was also I had to learn to not use relationships or men as a crutch also. So I've been single for this last 7 years, and like I say that, and it doesn't even, it's crazy, because I couldn't be by myself for seven days, you know. And now being in your 50s, right, that comes with a whole set of challenges. I have no idea. The thought of dating is terrifying. The thought of being intimate with someone is even more terrifying. You know, I'm old school, and so I don't know how to do it. And I just like anyone else, I feel like we all want to have like a special someone in our lives. And I think, you know, as I'm getting older, I'm like, well, I don't want to die by myself. That's not a really nice thought. You know, it would be nice to like grow old with someone, and someone that's on my same page, that shares the same values, that wants to, you know, have adventures like I do, you know, enjoy whatever we have left on this earth, experiencing life, but also maybe, you know, contributing and just traveling the world. And so I want that for myself, right? That's been on my vision board for a while, but at the same time, it's not easy. I did sign up for that, one of those dating apps, but it's like, you know, I don't know if it's that I'm too picky. I don't know. My picker's broken. It's just more challenging when you're older. But then, you know, I have other people that, like, even family members that are my age that are getting married, like a couple of them, like recently. So then that makes me feel like, well, you know, so there's hope for you, Nancy. You know, like, they're your age, they're getting married, they're finding partners. And like, I feel like I'm in a place that I'm healthy enough that I will attract the healthy partner. I'm not going to attract the kind of thing that I used to attract, you know, 7 years ago. But now I've been alone for so long that I am just very comfortable. I am too comfortable almost. And you know how when you get older, you do get set in your ways, right? It's like they say, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. I get that now. I get it why. We're set in our ways, and it takes work. Finding a relationship, maintaining a relationship, it all takes work and dedication. And I sign up to Hinge, but I barely go in and check it. Like, I don't do the work. I don't invest the time. So chances are that, you know, my prince is not going to come knocking on my door anytime soon, right? That thing was not recording. I'm just going to put some gloss, not gloss, but like a lip mask. This is from Lawless. I've been loving it. Look, it's almost done. I'm so sad. This is like, it's like Laneige, but better. Because you feel on this one, you feel like it's actually doing something, because it's supposed to be like not plumping, but like it helps fill the lines. So if you're a mature woman, highly recommend this one. It also comes in like formula, like a lip gloss formula, where you don't have to put your finger in. Before I go back, let me just show you what I've just been using. I've been keeping my makeup really simple. Like what I did, a shimmer on the lid, some bronze on the crease, some blush, bronzer, mascara, a little bit of eyeliner. And for my lips, I've been using this lip oil from Haus Labs that I have been obsessed with. I have the two shades here, but my favorite one is the peachy one. And this is like a lip tint in an oil form. And so the more you apply, like if you apply it throughout the day, it'll start to get a hint of that color, which is really nice. And it's so soft and cushiony and comfortable on the lips and not in a sticky way. You know, the Dior lip oils are super popular. I feel like these are a definite, like, perfect alternative to the Dior ones, and these are way more affordable. So, and then I typically will do like a lip liner sometimes if I'm in the mood. I'm gonna put on a little bit of this glow from Rare Beauty. Just gonna take some in the back. These are very, very glowy. I just want to put a little bit, like in some areas, just the high points. So let me find a small brush. I always keep it really high and away from the area where I have the enlarged pores, because you don't want to bring attention to that area, obviously. I think this wraps it up, guys. I rambled on. I don't even know what this video is, like I said, what I'm going to call it, but basically, you're not alone if you're struggling with mental issues with aging, because that's hard. I don't think people realize that when you start to get old, you have to make peace with that, because inside in our hearts, we don't, at least for me, actually I shouldn't generalize. I feel like I'm 20. I feel like I am a 57-year-old woman trapped in a 20-year-old woman's body, and I've always said this. And so there's that disconnect. I just never really understood that this was going to be part of the aging process, that I was going to feel this, that I was going to have to come to terms with it, that it was going to be this challenging for me. It's not for everyone. My older sister, you know, she doesn't bleach her hair. She went all gray. She loves it. She embraces it. She is a true example of someone who embraces aging, whereas I'm not. I just bleached my hair, you know, 2 days ago because I hate the grays. I hate the wrinkles. But it's like, I just would love to hear from you guys, like hear your thoughts, and if it's like, am I crazy, or other people like, you know, feel the same way too, like, and I just wish our society was a little bit more understanding, and you know, because in our society, aging is seen as like something bad or something, it's the worst. But at the same time, it's gonna happen to all of us. That and dying are the only two things that we have guaranteed from the moment we are born. So why have we made it this bad thing? You know, why can't it be just a beautiful thing where we are lucky to actually get to live, to be old, to get the wrinkles, to get the gray hair? Because so many people out there don't get a chance because their lives are cut short. You know, so I just, you know, this is part of my journey and part of what I want to kind of really embrace and really get it into my soul. Like, you know, aging, this is a good thing. This is a blessing. I am very lucky. I came close to dying several times, and the last one was the worst, and I came really close, and something happened. God intervened, the universe intervened, the source, however you want to call it, someone intervened and saved my life, and I'm here. And I'm just, you know, just sharing how I feel, and just in hopes that, you know, if someone out there feels the same way, you know that you're not alone and that you're not crazy. Thank you for watching through the end. I hope you will subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and give this video a thumbs up because it does help me out. I will end with that, and I hope you have a great rest of your week and be safe out there. Take care.